Hey everybody, welcome back for another Art Juice. Strange Art Fun as we continue the Twisted Santa's Reindeer. Or is it Santa's Twisted Reindeer? It's reindeer and they're weird. This is the final one. We're done. This is Rudolph. And so there's no more reindeer after this. So okay, so did half the page because I'm just doing sort of character designs. You can see Blitzen on the left, and here I'm penciling in some sort of rendition of a Rudolph with his big alcoholic red nose. Rudolph is the most recent addition, and they talk about Rudolph lighting the way. So for me, since these are twisted kind of takes on the reindeer, they're kind of Frankenstein created by Santa reindeer. I figured when Santa ran into trouble with being able to see, he would just make a Rudolph that was really bright and just a nose. I mean, how's he gonna light anything with just the nose? So I was just thinking out of the box, and I was like, well, he's gonna have real long legs. He's gonna be real gaunt. He's gonna be kind of, got bolts, and he's like, here, I'm trying the bolts. And I gave him these big, fuel tanks on the back of him, and that's part of the system that makes him bright and light up the sky. And here I am giving him his manacles, or what are those called, shackles, something, and so that way they can keep him locked up and safe, or keep the other reindeer safe from him, is what my take on it is. So I figured really the thing would be that Santa would just make Rudolph's head on fire all the time. So I think Rudolph's was just always burning. I think something's really wrong with Rudolph. He's probably the most dangerous of the reindeer. He's just always on fire. And I think when they said he wasn't allowed to play in any reindeer games, I think it was because he would probably hurt all the other reindeer. So Rudolph's usually kept to himself, and when he comes lurching out of the barn, head burning, I imagine all the reindeer give him a wide, they stay away from him. They really give him a wide passage. They don't want to hang out with Rudolph. I think Rudolph's dangerous. So here's my rendition of Rudolph. The final of Santa's creations. Something to really light up the dark skies is a dark reindeer with his head on fire forever. So, and here I'm just running the watercolors down to create some sort of, like this. I like those hard edges when they dry like that. You gotta let the watercolor pool and then just let it dry, and the edges retain more pigment, and it makes these hard edge designs. I like that. It's like a little bit of the broken chaos that kind of ties into the reindeer theme. And here I am just messing around with fire colors. I had several AI generated reference photos of things that had their heads on fire. So I had some vague imagery of fire I was pulling from. And I just gave him some little horns, and I kind of mixed a couple of images of some sort of skinny dude in the reindeer head. And so here I am just coloring in with a kind of like, warm brown, but I have to make sure that it doesn't get confused with the background. So I'm having to sit here and figure out how I'm going to do that. And I'm adding more darkness to the scene around him. One way to make his head, this burning head, pop is you got to make the background darker. They say dark ground? The background darker. And that will make the fire seem brighter. And then here I am kind of giving it more of a, almost like a silhouette, darkness. Putting in more of like a middle dark. And just maybe not trying to go all the way to the edge, leaving a bit of the edge. Like it's being lit a little bit by his burning head. And then I'm putting some of the warm cast light from the fire. And then just putting some of the metallic tones on the silvers and some of the machinery bits, get some colors. But I didn't want anything that was really bright or pop out. I wanted Rudolph to seem almost like he was charred and like everything in him was dark. And then I'm putting in the little red colors. And then more yellow. You'll notice I forgot the long dangling ornament between his legs. I'll come back to that later. And now I'm just working on some of the fire variations to make it fun. And get that core darkness in there. Oh, Rudolph's really starting to pop. It's looking good. And putting in some little more warm tones here and there. Some of that sort of neutral blue, gray shadow. So now I'm going to ink it. Get some nice black lines on it. The pencil alone I don't think would pop because the Rudolph's so dark. I needed something more punchy to help separate some of his forms. And I like inking stuff. I don't know, it's just fun. Using the Hoo pens, pretty good. They weren't that expensive. And just inking in the bits, putting in his hands needed some separation. I wanted to show his big, like long, sort of strangling hands that he has. And so I just needed to come in and get those and get the manacles sort of separated off his skin. Inking all the chains and the metal bit. And then here I realized, oops, I forgot to color the dangling ball, so I had to come back. And then since I had the red out, I just added it in some more places. And then just adding in the belts that hold on the control device. Inking his little chains and his hooves. And I'm trying to decide where I wanted to ink more. had to get his little crazy face in there with the goofy red nose. And just little details like the ribs, and wanted to hatch in some shadows into his face to push his face more into darkness. And then I was debating about not inking the tanks. I kind of like the way they looked like they were further in the background, but I just, to be consistent, I just ink the tanks anyway. Yes, that was a fun piece. I don't know, it was a fun exercise to try and do all the reindeer. You should try it with something. I don't know, whatever. I'm going to try it with some other stuff, and we'll talk about ways to change perspectives and on ideas. This is fun. It was just a fun way to try stuff. So here I'm just using shadow pens to enhance stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this whole process. Thank you for watching. Now I'm going to go back to doing random monsters and strange satirical stuff, and I'll be posting that too. So thank you guys. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.